Wickets at just the wrong time and some poor weather cost Middlesex as they narrowly lost their latest one-day cup game to Durham at Radlett. Durham batted after winning the toss but lost Alex Lees in the game's third over, Sam Robson holding on above his head as Tim Murtagh struck early. Perhaps it was no surprise that the visitors chose to bat. After all, they smashed a total of 400 plus in their opening match of this tournament, and here both Scott Borthwick and Graham Clark looked in terrific touch as they aimed to go big with the bat once again. On this occasion, they helped themselves to a score of 60 for 1 after the 10 overs of power play. Clark, who smashed 141 last time out, was at a 50 in Radlett, a 10th boundary, taking him to his mark. It was tough work for the Middlesex attack on an excellent surface for batting. Borthwick also making it to a half-century, his runs coming from 59 balls. The partnership had reached 108 when it was at last ended by Robson, the part-time spinner, dragging one down and watching with glee as Clark holed out to Peter Hanscom. Clark was out for 65 and was swiftly followed by Cameron Bancroft, who missed a sweep off Luke Holman and was leg before for a duck. New man David Bedlingham has been making headlines for his hitting this summer, and with shots like this, it went for 6, it was easy to see why. The South African looked unstoppable as he and Borthwick ignored the loss of those 2 wickets to really pick up the pace of their innings once again. They had their side on 176 for 3 after 30 overs and eyeing up possibly a total well in excess of 300. In 8 overs together, Bedlingham and Borthwick added 66 runs and Middlesex were struggling to stem the flow. That was until Borthwick, who'd made 76, tried to clear the rope off Murtagh but picked out Jack Davis. And once more, 1 brought 2, as in the next over, Bedlingham, who'd rushed to 41 from 30 balls, nicked his next off James Harris to Robbie White, who held on well. Durham now had to rethink, and with 13 overs to go had stumbled to 220 for 6. Sean Dixon the next to go as he somehow deflected a ball from Ethan Bamber to White. Middlesex had turned the tide, Holman grabbing his second wicket to remove Liam Travaskis, another to find the boundary a tad too far away. One young man who didn't was Luke Dunethi, batting for the first time in this format and showing all what he is capable of. The 20-year-old made a maiden 50, only to be then bowled by Bamber right at the end of the innings, Durham settling for a final score of 288 for 8. That was a challenging total, but not one which was out of reach for Middlesex, and they looked to Robson to give them a bright start to their chase. Instead, they were soon in trouble. Max Holden drilled Jack Campbell to Clark to be on his way without troubling the scorers. Varun Chopra was then trapped in front by Chris Rushworth for 6. And the experienced campaigner was soon celebrating once again, finding a lot of movement off the pitch to bowl Robson for 18. That left the hosts on 37 for 3 in the 7th over, leaving it to Hanscom and White to rebuild the innings, and that they did with due care and attention, while scoring plenty of boundaries to keep their team in this contest. They took Middlesex to 3 figures in the 19th over. The pair matched each other shot for shot as their much-needed partnership began to concern Durham. By the time the halfway point of the chase was reached, these two had added 96 runs together. Hanscom's 50 arrived with a typically well thought out shot. He was raising his bat after facing 49 deliveries, that being his 6th 4. A beautifully timed flick through mid-wicket took White to his half-century, his arriving from 67 balls, 6 4s included, at 167 for 3 after 29 overs. Needing a further 122 from the remaining 21, Middlesex were handily placed. But then both batsmen were out, and with rain soon arriving, that could not have happened at a worse time. White got a good one from Campbell and edged behind after making 55. Paul van Meekeren backed that up by bowling Hanscom in the next over for 75. The home team now had to start over with 2 new batsmen at the crease. Minutes later, in came the rain, with Middlesex behind on DLS. Once it cleared, Middlesex's target had been altered to 228 with 14 overs lost. That left them 55 runs to find from only 4 overs, and Davis clearly believed that could be achieved. 38 from 17 balls was the requirement when Holman went after Borthwick but found Dunleavy on the boundary's edge. And when Davis was out in a similar fashion for 17, it looked over, with 35 now needed from 11 deliveries. Tilan Walalawita had other ideas, however. It was going to take something remarkable for Middlesex to taste success from here, and remarkable was what happened next. The batsman struck 3 successive boundaries to the first 3 balls he faced. And then he went even better by clearing the rope to add to the increasing excitement for those at the ground who had stuck it out. Walalawita had 18 runs from 4 balls, and now Middlesex needed 16 more from the last over. Alas, Harris lobbed the first delivery off a leading edge to the bowler Van Meekeren. And next ball, Walalawita was unlucky to find Clark on the square cover boundary. He may have only been at the crease for a few minutes, but he had made quite an impression. It was left to the last pair of Bamber and Murtagh to try to find 16 runs from 4 balls. Both did find the boundary, but in the end Middlesex fell agonisingly short. It was another one of those what might have been days, and to be fair, there have been a few too many of those this season. This match was lost by 2 runs according to DLS, Middlesex closing on 225 for 9. They will hope for better fortunes when they return to Radlett to take on Hampshire on Friday.